Welcome back to episode 5 of Low Score Challenge featuring Sonic 3. So what's the lowest possible score while beating Sonic 3? Let's find out. So Sonic 3 has the same point system as Sonic 1 and 2, except the timer. The minimum score we achieve after 5 minutes is 100 points, so 100 more than 1 and 2. Also, the timer stops once the boss is defeated, so either we need to wait before entering the boss to make sure we defeat the boss after 5 minutes, or while in the boss room, wait for the timer to reach 5 minutes before delivering the final hit. Also, Tails is back again, lucky us. We could have chosen Solo Sonic, but default is Sonic and Tails. There are 6 zones with 14 bosses, so let's get started. Angel Island Act 1 is straightforward and short. It's not long till we are outside of the boss area and we will wait out the timer, close to 5 minutes to be on the safe side. With the editing magic, you guys don't have to wait, so let's carry on. With 6 hits, 0 rings, and over 5 minutes on the timer, we are good to go. The cool thing about Sonic 3 is how the acts just merge into one. So Act 1 just merges into Act 2, compared to Sonic 1 and 2 where after the act it fades out and you enter the next act. So from this point on starts the mini auto-scroller before the boss. So we'll sit here and just wait the 5 minutes out before continuing on. So I'm pretty sure all main bosses take 8 hits. This one no exception. We just got to remember to lose our rings at the end and make sure there's over 5 minutes on the timer so we can collect our minimum 100 points, 1000 points for defeating the boss, and we can move on. So Hydro City has 2 paths we can take, upper and lower. We usually take the lower route, but since the lower route consists of killing 2 enemies to drop the floors down, it looks like we are taking the upper route today. Once we get to this spot, the routes merge back together and we can continue on our merry way. Just for safe keepings, I'm going to get this electric shield, just in case I need to double jump over anything. And again, we'll sit here and play the waiting game so we can go down afterwards, kill the boss, and make sure it's after 5 minutes. And like that, the mini boss is defeated. We will collect our 1100 points and back to Act 2. So here I manipulate Tails to hit the spring, otherwise I've had dramas with him prior, with him killing that enemy while I'm jumping up and around, trying to do a spin dash to get up on that rotating platform. From here on out, it's pretty much smooth sailing. I do remember at the last second that there is an enemy sitting here and I would have spin dashed right into him. Luckily at the last second I did remember he was there, so I could pull the brakes up and avoid him. So here we do a well-timed jump to bypass going to the right, climbing up. It's just a little shortcut we do in Glitchless. And then we get ready to pause buffer here because we don't know if we're going to get it on the left side or the right side of those platforms. So we just pause buffer. As you could see, I sat there on the spin dash waiting for the music to change. Otherwise, I've had instances where I'll spin dash, come through, and I'll be able to bypass where the boss stage is here, or the boss area, and I go straight to the capsule. You can hit the capsule, but once the music finishes, you're soft locked. Unless you're in the water, and then after a while you drown and you go back to that checkpoint that you crossed off. I'll show you a quick example. So back to our boss fight. 8 hits, Robotnik's dead. We have to wait out the timer because this one I could have waited at the checkpoint, but kind of just went into it. So we get to play now a minute and a half roughly of just waiting, trying to not take a hit. Then we can hit him at 5 minutes and go on and move to Marble Garden. Marble Garden I found straightforward and I don't know, I like this level for some reason. I don't know what it is. It can be a pain in the ass in speedruns, but for this challenge it was, I don't know, it felt quite great to play through. Yeah, so no dramas here. We'll show a few highlights. We'll get to the mini boss and the main boss, and we'll move on our way to one of the hardest stages in the game afterwards, Carnival Night Zone. This boss fight is very similar to Sonic 2's Mystic Cave Zone boss. 6 hits, lose our rings, move on. So for Act 2, I just follow the glitchless speedrun route that I know. Especially here, the platform usually is a lot lower in S3K instead of this in Sonic 3. So I do notice a few different things with the version differences when you're playing S3K and instead of just Sonic 3. So it's interesting to see there's a few different enemy placements, different platform placements. Some things are closed off, some things are not closed off. So yeah, it's good to see the difference in a game that's Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and or one that's just Sonic 3. It's just the little things, like right here, when you break through that barrier, there's usually a set of spikes there in S3K, but there's nothing there in Sonic 3, so it's just weird to see. Now this boss is super simple. You can usually get 7 hits down below, and then you only got to do one at the top. I think I missed one with the insta shield. For some reason in S3 it's just, I don't know, I don't think it's as responsive as S3K, so we had to do the double hit up here on the second phase, so no big deal, but yeah, the insta shield feels really weird in S3, I must admit. So Act 1 in Carnival Night Zone, I didn't really have any trouble. This level is actually really short if you know where you're going. The only problem with this would be the boss fight and just making sure you don't get squished when you have no rings. Even if you do have rings, don't get squished. More of the problems arise in Act 2 with the bumpers, Tails doing his own thing. But yeah, Act 1 was pretty straightforward. We actually had a really good boss fight here. Not the best, by all means, but decent enough where Tails didn't screw me over on the rings, and I could actually go into a corner and manipulate the blade to hit the machine. Now, I don't know of if there's a safer route to go. This was the route that I took because it's somewhat the speedrun route. It's a little bit different, but this is what I could come up with Tails without hitting anything. We do some fancy bumper dodging like we just did back there, but this is the route that I made work. But damn, did Tails make this hard. This stage took me 45 minutes to complete. Tails just every time, he'd be off screen, spin dash an enemy. Off screen, hit a bumper. Be with me, fly past me, hit a bumper. Bumper this, bumper that. I was just totally over at the end. And the main goal was just to keep Tails either in the air, or if he wasn't with me, get him as far as away so he could spawn back in. This part here was the main culprit. If Tails wasn't in the air by the time I got here, there was like no chance. He would just fly past straight into these bumpers. It was unbelievable how many times I'd get to this one spot and have to do the whole stage all over again. So we play our waiting game again. I think I'd do the 7 hits here, I can't remember, it was 6 or 7, then we take our hits, lose all our rings, do the final hit, and move on to Ice Cap Zone. Can we just take a minute to appreciate how good this soundtrack is? I love Ice Cap Zone. So Ice Cap Zone Act 1 is exactly the same as S3K, so very simple. We'll get to show you the fastest kill I can do while we're doing this challenge, but it's a cool strat. Act 2 is a little different. I had to change up the route because apparently I can't go up the top, so we had to change the route just a little bit. But yeah, I love Ice Cap Zone. The music just gets you going. So we're going to get all hits bar one, because obviously we have to lose the shield, lose our rings. Usually in the speedrun we just finish him like that, but because this is a low score challenge, we need to lose what we got. So usually in Act 2, I would take the upper route and go right above the stage and never head down. But in this one, we get no choice but going down. From what I could find out with just Sonic 3, I couldn't go above, so it's not too. I wasn't too fast. Downstairs wasn't too bad. There's a few enemies you got to dodge. Besides that, pretty straightforward. And we can go meet Robotnik once again. Now, since I didn't wait the timeout, we're going to get Robotnik down to his second form, and then we're just going to wait in the corner, and then I'll speed things up for you guys, so we're not waiting here for, 3 minutes watching him pace backwards and forwards. So yeah. So, launch-based zone changes it up from S3K, because obviously this is the last stage in Sonic 3, and then when you're playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you move into Sonic and Knuckles after this. So, this being the final stage, we end up doing 4 bosses, and the enemy placements are very different compared to Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, shall I say. Like here, there's no spikes on the ground. Usually there's spikes there in S3K. Just more enemies in different spots. And yeah, it just threw me off a little bit, but we managed to get through it with no dramas.
but it was just a bit different. And the final boss as well, I don't think I've fought that final boss in a very long time, because in S3K we don't have the final boss. We have the boss before it, and then we move into Mushroom Hill Zone. So the boss coming up is very simple indeed. Just with Sonic 3's Insta Shield, I don't know what it is, it just doesn't feel right. Usually you just stand there and you can just jump, Insta Shield, hit, jump, Insta Shield, hit. Obviously we have to lose our rings, so it does put him off place a little bit, but it's just the Insta Shield in this is just terrible. So here in Act 2, I had to take the longer way. Usually when we grab the bubble shield in the water, we would spin dash across and bubble shield, bounce off one of these bird enemies, and we can take the shortcut up. But since killing the bird would give me points, I can't go that way, so kind of had to take the long way. So enjoy the long way, and I'll see you at the boss. So, boss 1 of 3. This one, very easy. Once the platform comes up, we'll just insta shield and just rinse and repeat, and soon enough, off to the next one. Now Tails is gone, we're on our own, so it's just us and 2 more bosses. I did want to do the insta shield quick kill, but because the insta shield doesn't feel right in this game, I just didn't do it. I just did fought him normally. So this is boss 2 of 3, and yeah, we'll go on to the final form. Time doesn't matter when we finish, or how many rings we actually have, because there is no score at the end of this one. So we will get a last 1,000 points from the boss, and that'll be it. With the final boss completed, now we can ask the question, what's the lowest possible score while beating Sonic 3? The answer is 15,100 points. Hope you enjoyed. And get ready to listen to this banger of a song for S3.